Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 388. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host, Mike. What's going on?
Hey, nothing much. We got an interview today, everybody. Dr. Andrea Molinari will be on the show to talk about his book, Shepherd, Volume 4, coming out. Talk about the previous volumes and all that jazz. Really interesting project. So looking forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's excited to hear about it. I guess we do have quite a bit of comic news this week, so we'll just jump right into it, Chris. And it's not even New York Comic Con yet.
No, that's what's crazy is there's so much announced by mostly three publishers, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how much stuff was announced this week.
I do want to, before we get into it though, I did see that for New York Comic Con there is a panel, I think, or announcements. I don't know if it'll be at a panel, but Marvel and Magic the Gathering will have a display or panel about revealing some of the new Magic the Gathering cards for the Marvel set, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. It's like two of my most favorite things that I spend money on combining into one. It's like, why is this happening?
Do you see there's like a Magic the Gathering series coming to Netflix?
Oh yeah, an animated series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't wait. I mean, there's comic books of it, right? So might as well just turn it into a series.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Dark Horse to. I feel like that's when they're going to announce the first series for Magic Gatherings at New York Comic Con. But I'm waiting for Dark Horse to announce what they're doing with those IPs.
Yeah, come on, Dark Horse, do something. All right, so a bunch of new shows dropped, not comic book related this week, but one of those was the Penguin first episode. Pretty much like the first movie came out this week.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, when it wrapped up, I was like, damn, that was like a really good movie. I loved it. Colin Farrell is amazing. The actress that plays, and I had read this going into it, the actress that plays the daughter of Carmen Falcone is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see where this goes. I think it was almost like a dark comedy, which I wasn't really prepared for because Penguin's funny. The way he talks, are you a noise? He's got noise qualities. It's like, what the hell? I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait for the rest of the season. It's so cool to be back in that universe.
I thought it was okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I really liked it.
So I am really excited for the rest of it because seeing what's coming after and how the first episode, the movie,
the first movie
finished up was exciting. I thought the way they laid it out though was like really weird and confusing.
Okay.
It was hard to follow, and like I wasn't really sure of what was like why that kid Vic got pulled in. Like there was a lot of things that I thought they did poorly throughout the first 45 minutes or so, but it did wrap up in a way that made sense. So I feel like that was intentional to do it that way. But as a viewer, I was like, really.
I think So I mean, I didn't feel that way. I just felt that like you're supposed to everybody thinks or feels that the Penguin is just a big dumbass. Like this is the moral of the first episode, that he's stupid and he's like he doesn't know what's going on. He's just everybody's lackey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like for the viewer. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh no, he was thinking like 5 steps ahead with like the body showing up at the end, like, knowing he'd get captured. It was like, oh, okay. He had a plan from the start, like, and he's got a purpose for everybody, but
see once again, I almost feel like he was thinking. I think he like falls ass backwards into thinking ahead, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because him spoilers, I guess, for this episode, but like he kills the son of Carmine, who's now the new boss, and that didn't feel intentional. That felt like
no, for sure.
Moment.
Yeah, that was, he said he just like became. Like Penguin's always had that like trigger finger, and like has had a terrible what do you call it? Like it always needs anger management.
And it feels like he was the master of taking a terrible situation and turning it around in his favor.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I hate it. I didn't hate it. Like I think if you watch the whole episode, it really does wrap up in a way that makes the rest of it make sense. It's just in the moment, I'm just sitting there watching it going like, this feels like cut. Like things are just happening and I don't really know why they're happening.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and like I said, that was, I could tell that was intentional. They wanted it to view that way.
Yeah. For me, I really liked it just from the characters alone. And I'll go back to like Gotham, the TV show. That was the one thing that just having a show set in Gotham, I guess, but like the characters, I could watch him sit there and just shoot the shit about slushies for 30 minutes just in that costume. And I think they did a great job with the characters.
Yeah.
Colin
Farrell's phenomenal throughout.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see anybody pop up. And there was a little Easter egg. There's that guy going around, scan the QR code. He's like, fuck off. The QR code is actual link. I think somebody posted online that like talks about people escaping Arkham or something like that. I can't remember. If you remember, they did some marketing when the Batman movie came out, where the Riddler had this like code you solve, and it was like brought you to this website where, it was like some little message that they had. But yeah, they did the same thing with that QR code, which is pretty cool.
Okay, let's see. Here's the message from the QR code. One second, it's got to load X.
I think from what I read online, it was like something about Arkham, people in Arkham or something like that.
Okay, so it's Clockbreaker. What's being put in motion can't be stopped. Rein it in. These are like code names.
Yeah.
So Clockbreaker's code name, rein it in, with the 2 X's on both sides, which is just 2000s edgy.
Yeah, Xbox 360 gamer tag. Yeah.
Arkham's release patience and Blackgate is a mess. No one's really a prisoner in there. Not even our old pal Sal Maroni, which was a great scene, by the way, when they go into Blackgate and Penguin and Sal talking.
That was
Hold the Line 81 says people say they want the truth, but they shield their eyes when we shine the light. Determinator says, let's make sure they're not blinded again to the corruption, the killing, the Falcone power grab. And then Hold the Line 81 says, we start in the streets tonight, 9 p.m., meet at the Metro outside Crown Point, and then it ends with Clockbreaker. Once again, done and done. The revolution is just getting started.
I think those are maybe like the Riddler people that he like drummed up. And I do like that they're talking about the after effects of what happened in the Batman movie, because he like fucks up the city and they're like, yeah, we're not going to recover from that. And the kid that Penguin gets is like, oh yeah, you came from that district, huh? Yeah, like nobody made it out of there. So like, his family probably died or something, like, people, whoever he loved is probably gone. So
yeah, and I'm looking at a picture of the scene too. The kid that hands it to him is wearing like a Riddler mask too, so it's definitely hinting towards something like that.
It's pretty cool. A show that I did not watch this week, I forgot about it, and then I was like, I'll get to it eventually. Agatha All Along, episode 1 and 2 are out. What did you think about those?
Speaking of confusing.
Yeah.
So this one starts off. So if you remember where Agatha left off at the end of WandaVision,
she goes back into the door dimension things, right?
So Wanda has some spell over her where she still lives in Westview.
Yeah.
And they set it up almost like WandaVision, where like it starts off like a police procedural. And it's way overacted. And once again, this is on purpose, but it's like tough to watch overacted.
Yeah.
And then she snaps the spell and comes to the realization of what's going on around her, like where she's living, why, blah, blah, blah. And has to go around. This kid finds her and like brings her out of it, and he's going to help her find these witches to go find the witch's road, which was the whole like Wizard of Oz scene that we saw. And mind you, once again, this is a 2-episode premiere, so there's 2 episodes out. It's another like hour and a half movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes a piece. They might as well just made them 1 episode and just called it a day. because they lead directly into each other.
Yeah.
And then so the first episode's her like breaking out and everything, and you get to see what's her name, Audrey Plaza from Parks and Rec.
Yep, she's in it, Audrey Plaza. Yep.
Yeah, so you could see her in it, and then second episode's her collecting the team, getting all the different witches. You get a little bit of backstory of the witches, like they're all really old, they're like 400 plus years old and everything.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And what the road is all about. And then it ends with them literally like doing a chant, going to the road, cut to credits. I say it was confusing because like that first episode was breaking her out of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just, for that first episode, for most of it was this weird crime procedural and everything. And I'm just like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. And why is it so bad?
Yeah. That's funny.
But overall, it's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really great or anything, but we'll see, because really the show begins at the end of episode 2 in my eyes.
Right. Yeah.
So it's another one where, similar to the Penguin, confusing for most of it, gets to a point where I see the story, and then when it wraps up, I see where they're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say Penguin's better. If you have to choose one, I would choose the Penguin.
I read a lot about, I read a lot about the Penguin, where they built this like chamber for him because that suit is so hot that in between, not even in between each scene, in between each take, he was going in this box that was equipped with like 3 different AC units to like cool down in between takes. I think that's most of the reason why he won't come back and do another season if they had it. But that's crazy, because like you got to think about filming a TV show of like 8 to 9 hours of screen time versus the movie was probably a lot more strenuous.
Yeah, I feel like, so this is obviously, so Agatha, watch it if you want. It's fine, but I'll let you know throughout the season how good it really is. I feel like with the Penguin, though, he will come back for the second movie.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like it'll be a scene.
Yeah.
Because I think that, I don't think I'm spoiling anything. I don't think there's any doubt in this. But it's going to end with him being the crime boss of Gotham.
Yeah.
And like the iceberg being back to what it was, but he's like the big honcho again.
Yep.
And there's going to be a scene where Sparkly Batman has to go and find him and like interrogate him and blah blah blah, and then so we'll see Colin again. But you're right. I don't know how you do a second season. Like the rise is him rising to power is the interesting story.
Yeah.
So
the kudos to whoever had to make that fake foot for that scene, because that was actually absolutely disgusting.
Oh yeah, that was nasty.
You almost they do a really good job of making you feel bad for him though throughout the episode. Like you're just like, damn, like I never thought I'd feel bad for a Penguin character, because like you look at Danny DeVito and you're like, this dude's a fucking psycho.
Yeah, actually his mom kind of sucks.
Yeah, his mom's crazy. That scene was wild with the mom, because you almost feel like you don't think that she knows he's a crime boss, and then she's just like, you're not a pussy, and he's like, oh, okay. I
thought she had like dementia or something. I thought that was gonna be the big twist.
Yeah, because she was talking about. I think she's psychotic, because she was talking about like kids in the bathtub and stuff that aren't there. So yeah, she definitely is got something going on. But yeah, we'll see how it progresses.
But 2 comic book shows out, so
yeah,
I enjoyed both of them, but Penguin's obviously the better of the 2.
Yeah. And when I saw this in the notes, I was like, wait, Civil War, like the Marvel movie? I was like, oh, I forgot Civil War is out now. So you watched Civil War. What did you think? Because this might be one that I wait a little while to watch now that's on streaming, but
I would recommend it. I mean, for me, first of all, it's not about the Civil War. And mind you, everybody out there, it's about a modern day Civil War. So it takes place like 8 years from now.
It's got Meth Damon in it, right?
Who?
So the red-haired guy that looks like Matt Damon, he was from Breaking Bad. People refer to him as Meth Damon because he was on Breaking Bad. Maybe I thought more people knew that. That's the guy.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
So he's got red hair. He looked a lot more like Matt Damon, but in like back in the day when he was first on Breaking Bad. He has
So
red hair, tall guy.
The only guy it could be he has a scene and he's fucking terrifying in that scene.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
So yeah, it's about an American Civil War in the future, but the real story is about war journalists. So you follow these two like three seasoned journalists and a kid who's trying to make it as a photojournalist. So the girl is like probably 21, 22.
Yeah.
And it's them going from where they are, and their goal is to make it to Washington, D.C. to interview the president, who is. So one thing I was impressed about, it's oh my God, Ron Swanson plays the president.
That's amazing.
What the hell's his real name?
That's it. That's his real name.
Okay. Anyways, he plays the president. Even though there's allusions to it's Trump,
yeah,
they stay fairly apolitical.
Okay. Nick Offerman, by the way.
Nick Offerman, thank you. So like I said, there's allusions to it. Like one of the allusions is like, well, he's on his third term as president, which, yeah. So, but I thought the movie as a whole stays very apolitical. It's really just about those journalists and them going through and like dealing with being in a war zone and being a journalist and what you have to go through and everything. So for me, it's very interesting because that was something I had a passion for when I was younger, especially.
Yeah.
And it's all about this journey to that endpoint, and it's really well done. There's some really like terrifying scenes. If the guy you're talking about is who I'm thinking of,
he's got like aviators in the scene, I think, right? He's got
like
a militia guy.
Orange aviators.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he's a part of one of the opposing forces, and they basically find him after he kidnapped the girl and is going to execute her. And it's right next to a pit where they just threw a bunch of dead bodies in.
That's crazy.
And it's a whole scene where like he goes and just like murders a bunch of people that they're with, and it's them trying to like calm him down to be like, dude, we're not like,
yeah.
And he's obviously just gone off the wall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then the final sequence of the movie takes place in DC, and it's a war zone, and it's interesting to no end to see Washington DC as a war zone. Like to see someone RPG the Lincoln Monument, and then to like see military forces breaking into the White House in order to like assassinate the president. Like it's just a crazy sequence of events.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think it's really well done. Like it's not. I think it got caught up in some political conversations that it shouldn't have, because it doesn't really. It doesn't push a narrative. It's more of a war movie about journalists.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I think my reservation was just like, with such a divide going on right now that I don't know if I wanted to consume something that is like, is like it hits kind of close to home. I would say. Yeah. But yeah.
It was another one of those movies where I think that one side of the political aisle like captured it as a conversation, so it became political in nature when the actual material is not.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me to no end, because people I know of one side of the aisle are like about it, when I'm like, it's not that.
Right.
It's just an enjoyable movie about in this weird circumstance. But I'd recommend it to people. I think it's a well done war movie, and and who the hell's the lead actress? It's Mary Jane from the original Spider-Man movies.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Kristen Dunst.
Yeah,
she's the lead actress of the movie.
Her and Meth Damon also acted together in. His name's Jesse something. The actor.
Oh my god, this is a Google thing too.
Yeah.
I just searched Meth Damon
and it pops up. So I'm not wrong, right? Is the thing? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were a couple in one of the Fargo seasons. I can't remember which season. But yeah.
This guy is the guy I'm thinking of. He's a psycho in the movie.
Yeah,
he's also in the movie Like Mike. If you were interested.
Oh, nice. Very, very, very cool. All right, everybody. We're gonna jump to this interview.
Hold up.
Oh, wait. What do you got?
GQ magazine His name is Jesse Plemons, by the way, if you cared.
Yeah, I did say it. His name is Jesse. Yeah.
This is a quote from GQ magazine from Jesse Plemons. I have noticed few people refer to me as Meth Damon.
See, it's a thing. I don't make this shit up. I wouldn't have said it.
Dude, I'm the old man yelling at clouds, not you. So
I was just when I was really into Breaking Bad and reading discussions when it was coming out, people referred to him as Meth Damon, and I was like, that is the greatest thing.
Oh my god.
It's right there for the taking.
All right, do your transition.
Good comic news, everybody. We got a mountain of it this week, which means they won't be announcing anything at New York Comic Con.
No, nothing's happening there.
Chris is very excited because Marvel announced a new Captain America limited series titled Sam Wilson Captain America. It's Red Hulk on it too. Wait a second. This looks very strikingly similar to a movie that's coming out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When Captain America attends a birthday party, what? For his that's it. That's the story.
He fights the Red Hulk.
He fights the Red Hulk. And a giant cake. For Isaiah Bradley, he catches wind of a new tech venture that sounds too good to be true. Magnificent floating platforms in the sky where the disenfranchised can apply for land grants and establish their own farms. What the hell? But after Sam discovers the organization's dark underbelly, he'll have to tangle with its head of security, Red Hulk. So Red Hulk is defending floating farms on platforms. Nice.
Sure.
It sounds wild.
Are you
getting this one?
Yeah, it says Captain America on the
title,
Mike.
It's Captain America.
I believe the pitch for this one was, hey, Greg, we have a Captain America movie with Sam Wilson coming out where he fights the Red Hulk.
Can you make
it happen?
Like, we need it to take place in the sky. Oh, I got you.
I don't know. I like Sam as Cap, so it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, and it's nothing new. I mean, both big two publishers do this. Movie coming out, we gotta have a comic with these characters on the cover.
Yep.
I get it. But Red
I
Hulk.
think that's Storm too there with War Machine on the bottom. Looks like.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. And then one of the Young Avengers, I forget his name. Last I saw Red Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, I don't read everything that Red Hulk's in. I'm not like an uber Red Hulk fan.
Yeah.
The last I saw Red Hulk, he was an Avenger. So
how does that happen?
I don't know what's going on.
Neither do I. Marvel announced the return of the Champions with a new team of teen heroes from writer Steve Fox and artist Ivan Fiorelli. That's a very 90s. I think we're getting back to the 90s, Chris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like 90s art. I see it more and more.
Do you not? Did you not know that there's a Venom event book out right now?
Oh no, I did not know that.
Yes, Venom Wars is happening right now.
Oh, it's the 90s. The group begins with Liberty, Hellrune, Moon Squire, Cadet Marvel, and will expand quickly over the first arc of the series as more new champions answer the call. But not all are destined to be heroes, and some have dark connections to establish Marvel lore that could spell disaster with a fledgling team before they can get off the ground. Each new champion has a story to tell, and together they have a world to change. Mystery, action, and drama awaits Marvel Comics' next beloved teen superhero team assembles. What do four kids whose lives derailed by Hydra, Scarlet Witch's mysterious protege, a cursed roller derby jammer, and a Wakandan runaway have in common? Not much. But when Hellrune's mysterious powers activate to bring them together, they'll have to learn how to work as a team quickly or face the wrath of the cult of Hela. It sounds a lot like the book. It sounds like Stargirl's Lost Children book. That's what it sounds a lot like.
Yeah, no, you say it,
yeah.
But it's better because there's a Moon Knight character in it.
Yeah, you're going to read this one.
I'm going to try the first issue, yeah.
Moon Squire, I love that.
I got to see what Moon Squire is all about.
That is a great name.
And I don't know what Radiant Black's doing over here, but
that's crazy. There. It is Radiant. I don't know. I don't even know which character that would be out of all of them.
Also, I just realized the Wasp character in the background. You notice she has a star in her chest, much like Stargirl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's hilarious.
I'm sure I'm not gonna like it, but I gotta try it.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I like the Champions as a concept, like the younger. But here's the thing: I like Champions as a concept when they did like Kamala Khan and Miles Morales and some of those characters.
Yep.
And I believe that was Mark Waid too. And these characters, to my knowledge, like Moon Squire is not in the Moon Knight book. I'll tell you that much. Like I don't know who Moon Squire is, and I'm a pretty big Moon Knight fan.
That's wild. Okay, so at least I'm not just out of the loop here.
I'll be interested to see where these characters came from, but yeah, we'll give it a shot. I have very, very low hopes.
Yeah, the difference here is Mark Waid isn't writing it.
But I'll tell you what, Steve Fox is a guy at Marvel he's one of their like, giant air quotes homegrown talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the class that like David Popose was on.
Oh, okay.
Coming into Marvel, so I think they have hopes for him that he'll like be kind of their next Jed McKay or something.
Okay.
And I've liked stuff that he's written, but he hasn't shown exactly to be on that level yet. But we'll see. This is a big chance for him.
Yep. More announcements from Marvel. They announced 2 new What If comics this week. Marvel and Disney What If. Mickey and Friends became the Fantastic Four. Yeah. Written by Riccardo Secchi and Steve Belling with art by Lorenzo Pastorovicchio. That looks amazing. I love that. That sounds awesome. They should do. I don't know why Disney hasn't done more fun shit like this. This just makes sense.
This has been a series of books that have been really great so far.
Yeah.
But if you want to get into the
I'll get into before Mickey has stretching powers. Minnie can turn invisible. Goofy can burst into flame. It's like, stop, Goofy. You don't need to do that. Donald has become some kind of rocky thing. Wow, with these incredible powers. By powers they vow to help those in need as the Fantastic Four. And they'll need all their awesome abilities if they want to succeed in the first mission together to stop Mole Pete from destroying Duckburg. But how do they get their superpowers? Find out in this fantastic origin special. That looks amazing.
Yeah, so they've done Donald Duck became Wolverine. Donald Duck became Thor.
Yep.
They're going to be doing Minnie becomes Captain Marvel. They're fun. They're not great, but you have a good time reading them.
Yep.
I love What If, so I'm always down for What If. Yeah,
it looks awesome. It's an amazing cover. I'll probably check this one out.
And just, I mean, you had me at What If, but if that wasn't enough, Goofy as the Human Torch.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. Another What If, Galactus Transformed, written by. Oh, that's cool. Written by Matt Groom, Josh Trujillo, Alex Segura. Oh, there's a lot of people on this book. And Nakenti Kalinda Vasquez, art from Danielle Picciotto, Stephen Byrne, Scott Eaton, Cam Smith, Manuel Garcia, and Lon Medina. See Hulk, Gambit, Moon Knight, Rogue, and Ghost Spider transformed by the power of Cosmic and tormented by new powers in stories delivered by a lineup of superstar talent, including veteran Marvel talent and rising newcomers. These once familiar heroes will be outfitted with new cosmic looks designed by visionary Silver Surfer artist Ron Lim and imbued with divine power upgrades from their master that will test their humanity. That's pretty cool. So you're getting a bunch of these with galactic powers. Yeah.
So it's 5 What If books, all centered around people becoming Heralds of Galactus. By the way, Mike, this one right here, which is What If Galactus Transformed Moon Knight, that's the one Alex Segura is writing. So fuck yeah.
Of course. That's awesome. Perfect for you.
Once again, you had me at What If, but I love the idea of like they've done this a lot with What If in the past, where it's like this person becomes the Herald of Galactus.
There's a few there I wouldn't read though, like this one.
I'll pick them all up just because I have a What If collection to.
Yeah, you got to fill it out.
But I love this idea of because it's low hanging fruit with Galactus. Like he can turn anybody into his herald.
Anyone. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And they're always a good time. So
yep.
I'll be interested. I'll be really interested because I know Moon Knight the best, and like he's one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like that side thing of like, he's now the Herald of Galactus, like a galaxy-wide threat and everything.
Right.
Like what does Khonshu think of that?
Yeah, right. How does Khonshu feel about it now? Yeah, he might have something to say.
Yeah.
All right. Two more new X-Men comics, everybody, because that's what everybody wanted. I don't know, like, are they getting so many pre-orders for these books? They're like, we got to do more X-Men books. We haven't hit the limit yet. This is insane. We have to be over 20, I think, now. Or at least
I've lost count. I'm done counting. There's too many. That's how many there are.
We're getting Magic from writer Ashley Allen, artist German Peralta. Okay, there it is. From Colossus Kid Sister to New Mutant, Ilana Rasputina has climbed the ranks over the years to become the forecast X-Men of them all, and her long overdue solo adventures will see her tap into mystical expertise, unique mutant magic like never before. The Mystic Mutant goes demon hunting in her own series. The X-Men Yelena Rasputina strikes out on her own with new allies and dark powers arrayed against her. Something ancient has awakened beneath the Alaskan ice. Unfortunately for it, that's Magic's territory now. Throughout the series, Magic will also be forced to come to terms with her tragic history and learn to control her demonic dark child persona. After using suppression, Yelena's dark child form returns from the depths of her tormented soul to offer her more strength and power, but at what cost? She's edgy goth teen with a giant sword.
Yeah.
And that's a cool cover, I guess.
Magic's cool when she shows up. I don't know if it'll be a solo. Also, long overdue solo series. Apparently, we forgot about Blood Hunt Magic because she had a 3-issue series. And I bring that up because it's the same creative team.
Yeah.
So if you read that and enjoyed it, here's more, I guess.
Yeah, it's
But I'm so out on X-Men. It's not even funny.
German Peralta on the art though is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's a great artist. Another X-Men book, Cable, Love and Chrome. Oh, from writer David Papose and artist Mike Henderson. Okay, I'll get back on. Dude, we're in the 90s. The amount of X-Men books and these covers, Love and Chrome, we're in the 90s. He's been a soldier in X-Men, a protector of the time stream, but even from the earliest days, the mutant known as Cable has been living on borrowed time, waging a lonely war against the ravages of techno-organic virus. Yet, when a high-stakes mission in the future goes catastrophically awry, Cable's left stranded in the dystopian city of Salvation Bay, find himself caught in the midst of a civil war that'll change his life forever. Yeah.
I'm sorry, David. I love you, but no.
Yeah. No, not going to be reading a Cable book. He does have 2 giant guns, though, so that's checks out.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I'm so out on X-Men. There's too much. You've oversaturated.
Yeah.
You had a chance to get me on a few of the initial announcements.
And then, bam, every week it's been like 3 books. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. All right, more Marvel announcements, everybody. Marvel announced a new one-shot comic titled Kidpool and Spider-Boy from writer Christopher Yost and artist Nathan Stockman. Interesting. It's a cool cover, but it's their historic first meeting. Your favorite foul-mouthed adolescent Kidpool is back in comic book form, starring alongside the biggest debut character in recent memory, Spider-Boy. Will the adolescent arachnid be able to keep the murderous middle grader, from causing the return of the comics code? Unlikely, but Bailey is going to try. Don't miss the comic that every kid and kid at heart in America is going to sneaky read under their sheets with a flashlight. Okay. Yep.
No. Just no. Yeah.
What is happening? Somebody's buying this book. I
like that they're having fun.
Yes.
I don't want to take that away because we have complained about that in the past.
Yes, we have.
Can you do it with any other character, please?
Yeah, come on. What is up with this?
I can't do Deadpool book, and I really can't do a Kidpool book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm out. Oh yeah, he has a lightsaber. Everybody, it's look at him. He's cool.
And he's got a squirt gun. Cool. Yeah. All right. DC.
Speaking of 90s. Yeah. Speaking of 90s.
Yeah.
Squirt guns died in the 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
I've literally looked at stores to see if super soakers are still a thing. They do not exist anymore.
They're gone. Nobody knows what a super soaker is, dude. It's crazy. Man. Why did they just stop
so much fun with super soakers back in the day?
Do you remember the Gatling gun one? They don't make those anymore. What the hell?
Great.
It's weird.
Kidpool's bringing them back though.
Yeah, Kidpool's got them. DC Comics announced a new Metamorpho series from writer Al Ewing and artist Steve Lieber. That's a weird cover. To know him is to love him. He's the one and only Rex Mason. He looks like he's in terrible pain. That smile is help me. And only Rex Mason, alias Metamorpho, but he even went out against Cyclops, the hairy eyeball of crime that gazes from the top of the pop charts to the lowest depths of evil. And even into the far out raw realm. To find out, the Element Man must survive a handpicked assassin who can match him every change for change, and that's just the first issue. That's a great cover. I love Metamorpho, the Chemical Man, so I'll be reading this. And we got to get people into it because it's going to be in the Superman movie, so makes sense. I'll be checking this out. Al Ewing too. Come on.
I won't be because I don't care for Al Ewing.
It's all right. Yeah.
And you have to like do something to get me into a Metamorpho book. Although Steve Lieber, I do like his art. So
yeah, the art's really good.
And I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. I think these covers are awful.
This cover is crazy.
This cover I hate.
Oh, okay.
This one is.
Wait, that's an actual cover?
That's a cover, yeah.
This looks like a 10-year-old drew it.
And then, yeah, I'm with you on this one. Like his face, like it just. I'm gonna have nightmares about that face for the next week.
It's like it's very like Uncanny Valley, but also he looks like he's in pain.
Yeah. And then she looks like she's being abducted. Like, it's...
there's something off about her like here. And this is just like a 10-year-old really drew this. Like, I have no doubts. This one is just cool.
It's a cool concept idea. It just didn't come together.
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah,
but I'll be reading it nonetheless. This is interesting. DC Comics announced a new Challengers of the Unknown series from writer Christopher Cantwell and artist Sean Izaakse. In Challengers of the Unknown, Ace Morgan, June Robbins, Prof. Haley, Red Ryan, and Rocky Davis, adventurers living on borrowed time, run day-to-day operations for the Justice League's Watchtower base in orbit above Earth, collaborating with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the League, and the rest of the people you want to read books about, to seal the rifts that threaten the galaxy. But a mysterious foe from the Challengers' past lurks in the shadows. Connection to the Dark Side wave will put not only the Challengers, but all the DC universe on borrowed time. I don't give a shit about the Challengers, Chris. Nobody gives a shit about the Challengers. We're getting a Challengers book before we get a Legion of Superheroes book. What is going on? What is happening? Who cares about the Challengers of the Unknown? Nobody has ever cared about these guys.
I love that you just said that. So everybody that thinks that me and Mike agree too much, I really like the Challengers of the Unknown.
What the fuck? Yeah, because you have nobody you have nobody in Marvel. You don't have these guys in Marvel because
it's called the Fantastic Four. Mike.
You have the Fantastic Four. The Challengers don't have powers. They're just a bunch of people in spacesuits.
They're adventurers. I think it's fun.
An Adam Strange book. I mean, I'll read the first issue. I'll try it out. You got Chris writing it, so I'll try it out. I just love
the past couple of things, for a while they were saying like Cantwell's a hit or miss. I'm not so.
Yeah.
The past couple of things he's done, I've really enjoyed, including that Plastic Man book. And like I said, I like the Challengers. I think they're fun. Bringing in the Trinity is interesting too. So I'll be interested to see how they like bring that together.
Mm-hmm.
This is a day one. Like I'll be getting copies of this 100%.
Yeah.
And I love so like this is their like promo for all their new books right now for All In. This cover to me is just so great. Like them outside the Watchtower, all in their like Challenger suits and everything.
Yeah. Batman with the ears on his astronaut helmet.
Yeah, and then it's so
fucking Challengers.
I just love that you shit on them right before I was about to do it, man.
The Challengers of the Unknown. So like they can't get enough people to read these books. They literally have to put the Trinity on every cover. Because that's what happened before. Last time they had the Challengers out, they didn't have they're like, but look, I know they look like normal people in spacesuits, but we got the Trinity in the book. So
I'll admit the books always fail. Like you're not wrong. I always have fun with them. I think they're good. I think the issue with them is with the Challengers for DC is like they kind of set this up as an ongoing, just do like a 6-issue series.
Yeah.
Like just have them come in once in a while. And I'll be there for those 6 issues and I will enjoy them and then they'll go away. Yeah. And they'll come back in 4 or 5 years again. Like, yeah, they don't have the fan base to sustain a ongoing. Yeah. I wish they did personally, but they don't. So yeah.
Some more DC announcements, everybody. DC Comics announced a new Batman series titled Batman Dark Patterns from writer Dan Waters, artist Hayden Sherman. That's a really cool cover. Batman Dark Patterns will be told as a series of 4 self-contained, street-level, evergreen Batman mysteries exploring the early days of Batman's place within Gotham City and his healing presence within streets. The first case and story arc, We Are Wounded, involves a series of sickeningly gruesome murders, sending shockwaves through Gotham City. Are these random works of a serial killer, or is there something more sinister at play? Across the first 3 issues of Batman Dark Patterns, Batman attempts to get to the bottom of the mystery before any more victims are claimed. Sounds cool. I mean, it sounds like a street level Batman story. Yeah, I'll check it out. I like the art.
Sounds like a detective story.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm there for it. The Batman stuff all around, unfortunately, the Jason Aaron book aside, has been really good recently. So I'm on a point where if it says Batman on the cover, I'm buying it.
Yep.
And I'm not the uber Batman fan like you and some others are. Mm-hmm. I just think that the Batman titles have been really good recently. And
no, they've done a good job with them for sure.
Yeah, so I'll definitely check this out. And I kind of like that. This is almost like a year 1 story. It's early in his career.
Yeah,
I like the early Batman stories too, of him figuring things out, where he's a little bit more flawed and not the Bat God.
The Bat God version of himself. So. This is interesting. DC announced a new series titled Two-Face from writer Christian Ward, artist Fabio Veras. In the tradition of recently completed villain-focused comic book series, the Penguin, DC's new all-in series, Two-Face explores the good and the bad sides of Harvey Dent as 2 characters operating and living in the same body. As the good Harvey explores a Perry Mason-like life as an attorney at law, bad Harvey doesn't just want partial control of the body, but full control of the mind. After years of internal conflict, both halves of Harvey Dent have reached an uneasy peace. In DC's new Two-Face series, Harvey uses his skills as an attorney to resolve the conflicts of Gotham's weirdest and most dangerous criminals, starting with Victor Zsasz, when Zsasz is accused of murdering a fellow member of Gotham's underworld. Who better to prove a criminal's innocence than someone who's been on both sides of the law? Yeah, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the villain books, really. I mean, if it's a villain that I like hasn't been done a bunch, like there's so many stories about Two-Face, so many stories about Penguin. I would love more obscure villains, right? But I'm sure this will be pretty popular.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is Christian Ward, writer. I mean, he did write that Batman. What was Madness something? Mm-hmm. That was really good, but he also drew it.
Yeah.
He's known more as an artist, so that's interesting. Getting that writer money. But I'm with you.
The City of Madness book, that was really good.
City of Madness, that was a good
really
book too.
That was a really good book, yeah.
I can't. I'm not big on villain books either, unless it's like a villain I'm a huge fan of, and I can say that there's the only Batman villain you could get me on is Clayface.
Yeah. Yep.
And just this one doesn't hit it for me, but people like it. People love Batman villains.
Yep.
Two-Face has been in how many movies now?
So many.
So it's a good move on DC's part, but will not get my money.
Now we got Dark Horse announcing some stuff. They got a new series titled Ripperland from writers Steve Orlando and John Harris Dunning and artist Alessandro Oliveri. The year is 2188. Jack the Ripper has returned to London for the last century. A shattered post-Brexit England has operated as a massive Victorian theme park in exchange for American military and financial protection. What the hell? But when an American mogul's grandson is killed in the heart of London, the delicate status quo is threatened. Is the killer a brilliant maniac, Americans taking advantage of their superior technology, or the English underground resistance wishing to throw off the yoke of American oppression and rejoin the modern world? American Special Agent Jesse Holden, local British police detective Edward Fogg must overcome their clashing ideologies in order to find the truth in foggy streets of 22nd century London. What the hell? I'm not reading this. What? It's like a fever dream.
So we've gone over a billion times. I'm not a big Steve Orlando guy.
Yeah, but this just sounds wild.
That said, somebody had a good idea. But then wanted to talk about Brexit.
Yeah, and then wanted to Brexit. Yeah.
And then wanted to add in, oh yeah, by the way, the military industrial complex.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, what?
You have a good idea. Just stop.
Keep that shit out of there. Yeah.
The idea of a futuristic Jack the Ripper is a cool concept.
Yeah, right.
That's all you need.
Leave it there. Leave it there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to hear about Brexit. Come on.
But Steve Orlando has a following, so people.
Yeah. People love the book.
Yeah.
Another new series of Dark Horse titled Behemoth, writer Grant Sputor and Ryan Engel with artist Jay Martin. When a giant monster attacks a city and swallows a bus full of civilians, one woman must fight for her life trapped inside the enormous beast. Sarah and her fellow bus passengers soon find out what they're not alone. What dangers lie in the belly of the beast, and who or what will they have to contend in order to survive? Now we're talking, Chris. This is a book I can get behind. Simple, effective. There's an ecosystem inside the belly of a kaiju. Let's go. I want to read all about it.
So, I'm looking up something real quick, but I was reading about Brian Engel. So Brian Engel is a writer at Hollywood, and apparently he's signed up to do something in the Monsterverse.
Oh, cool.
So he has some kaiju stuff there. That said, he's also the writer behind the movie Rampage. So
this is just an offshoot of Rampage. Nice.
But yeah, it sounds cool. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but this definitely, when I was reading about it, was like, this screamed Mike.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Screamed
the bus is getting swallowed. I got to read this. What happens in the belly of a beast? I need to know.
It is a cool concept, though.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Dark Horse, and it doesn't involve Brexit, Chris. So
you just wait. I'm sure. You know what's in the belly of the beast?
Oh god,
Brexit.
Political ideologies. Oh no. Dark Horse Comics announced another series titled Those Not Afraid from writer Kyle Starks, and artist Patrick Piazzalunga. 2 serial killers discover they are within the reach of the state record for kills and enter a terrible competition to see who gets there first. What the fuck? Learn more about our awful killers, Mark Andrew Smith and Daniel Dotson, their grotesque activities as we enter a frightening game of cat and mouse between killers and police. Yeah, that's a wholesome book. Just some friendly competition between your neighborhood serial killers.
Yeah. Book for the whole family. Kyle Starks, we love him.
Yep.
I think this is a dope idea.
Oh no, it's a really good idea. Yeah.
Like it is goofy in its own way, but that's kind of what Kyle does.
Mm-hmm.
So I might check this one out because it's just such a cool concept in its own. Like, the idea of like 2 serial killers being like, "No, I'm better than you."
Yeah, it's me. I'm the winner. Yeah. So they're like reading the newspaper every morning. They're like, "Fuck, I'm behind."
Damn it, he got ahead of me again. Guess I gotta go kill that neighbor kid.
They put out his like Tyvek suit. Here I go again. That's awesome. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot Dark Horse is doing Star Wars, everybody. We got a new series titled Star Wars The Bad Batch Ghost Agents from writer Michael Moretti, and artist Reese Hannigan. This will be the first appearance of Bad Batch in the comics. And it's crazy that it's under Dark Horse. The clones of the Bad Batch have been through some intense missions throughout the Clone Wars, and it's said they have a 100% success rate. But this time, they may have met their match. In Star Wars hyperspace stories, the Bad Batch Ghost Agents, they are on a mission to hunt down the mysterious separatist ghost agent who executed a daring heist on Coruscant. The thief's trail leads Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, and Tech to the seediest corners of the galaxy, a place where kingpins and thugs threaten the clones' mission and their lives. That's awesome.
I don't normally get the Dark Horse Star Wars books.
Yeah,
they're basically all ages versions of what Marvel's doing, and some of them have been interesting, I've heard, but there's so much Star Wars stuff that I'm enjoying over Marvel.
Yeah, but Michael Moretti writing it and Bad Batch, Chris, you got it.
I was gonna say, that said, I have picked up all the Clone Wars Dark Horse books.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
So I will get this, and I love Michael Moretti. Like obviously we're big fans of Barbaric, and
for sure.
I go back to some of the older stuff he's done too.
Yep.
So I'm here for it. It sounds fun, and it's cool that like Disney and Marvel were like, we don't want to do all ages, but we'll throw Dark Horse.
I do love they still get their Disney in the corner there on the cover.
Oh, they got to, man.
Gotta have the Disney on there.
Branding.
Yeah.
I also am very interested to hear about how the Galactic Empire is responsible for Brexit.
Yeah, I mean, they do have very British style costumes on, so we'll find out. One more from Boom Studios. They announced a new series from writer Michael W. Conrad and artist John J. Pearson titled In Bloom. That is a crazy looking cover. 43% of the cells within a healthy human body belong to something other than the human host, microbiomes. Invasive bacteria, fungal and viral agents, something else, something more. When the bloom finally happened, humanity was changed forever, transformed the symbiotic fungal megasystems that infected their bodies. Some of the affected grew new body parts. Some found their personalities changed in radical ways, while others reported contact with an intelligence that was not their own. In this bold new world, Agent Spears finds herself investigating a series of mysterious murders, a chain of violence that leads her to a terrifying question of which of the fate of every living being rests. So basically, we're getting this is like Last of Us, right? And now we're like, it's like the beginning of Last of Us to me.
Kinda, but I don't see any zombie stuff here.
Yeah, but they're like fungal people. That's gross. It makes me very uncomfortable with these covers. I don't know. I probably won't check this out, but it is a cool concept.
I probably will only check it out because I'm sure I'll get a review copy of it.
Yeah.
But it does sound interesting, and I see where the concept could thrive. So, and who was writing it again? Michael W. Conrad. I've read some of his stuff. He's a good writer, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, good on Boom for taking chances on things. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it does in the charts, to say the least.
Yeah. Okay, with that, I guess we'll talk about what we read this week. Quite a few comics here. There was a couple that I missed, I think, for my list, but I finally read Saga 68 a few weeks late. It was a good issue, I guess, but the robot kid still has a lot of issues, and Hazel's new friend is probably going to end up betraying her because she's a creepy spider lady, and that doesn't end up well.
Yep. Did you see the cover for Saga 69, which comes out this week, by the way?
No, let me look it up. Saga 69. I'm sure it's something crazy. Oh, yeah, it's two people 69. Yep, that's about what you expect. Wow. Yeah.
So I'll just give it out to them for actually putting that on the cover. But
hell yeah. They had to, right?
Yeah.
Good for them. Geiger number 6. That was a good issue. Revolves around the dog fighting some poachers off at this local zoo with a bunch of mutant animals. The three-eyed zebra ends up joining their group at the end of it. It was a really cool, insert story here, but I thought it was a really cool story. That 6-armed gorilla was awesome, or 4-armed.
Yeah, I like it's kind of a side story, but at the same time it does bend into the rest of the narrative. And cool. Anything with animals, I'm there for. So yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
And then the moral at the end, you don't go into that zoo anymore.
Yeah, you just really know to stay away from the zoo. Yeah. Rook number 5. This is from a couple weeks ago. I thought it was a great issue. Rook is alive and has a better connection to the birds now, and he's ready to fight Ursa. I think that was cool. It was a cool concept. TMNT number 2. I thought it was a good issue about the Mikey being a movie star. I thought that was cool, but he's also really lonely and sad, so it's kind of depressing. But then Raphael meets with him after he gets attacked by the Foot Clan. But he also attacks the Foot Clan while he's tripping balls. So that was a really cool scene with the art where he gets drugged and he's fighting with his diamond nunchucks or whatever. That was awesome. Multiverses Collision Detected number 1.
Oh, Jesus.
Miller and Samariva. So I checked this issue out because I do play the Multiverses game. I have played it. It's a lot of fun. So I thought overall it was a fun issue. So the Trinity are having these crazy dreams and visions of and they draw the symbols that they see. Each of the symbols, one looks like Bugs Bunny, and they're seeing visions of the Warner characters, and they meet up and they're like, what's happening? And so they end up at the house of Barda and Scott Free, who's you have Big Barda. They're from New Genesis. They're new gods. Mm-hmm. And they end up seeing the daughter of there. She's at the house alone, and she has this video game that she's playing, but there's something going on with her video game and her powers. And when they get at the house, and they're like, how did we get teleported here? What there's something weird going on. We got to investigate it. And Bugs Bunny, she was hiding Bugs Bunny in her closet. So she's definitely doing something with her either her imagination or like the multiverse, and that's how these characters are going to come together. It was actually a pretty cool introductory issue. And it was funny because like when she answers the door, you hear like Bugs Bunny's in the background, like, "Oh, is that the pizza I ordered, hun?" or something like that. It was really funny. But yeah, it was a good overall issue. It was fun.
Was Arya Stark in the book?
No, not yet, Chris. They kept it to, I think it was Steven Universe and Bugs Bunny, and I can't remember the third one, but it was interesting. Superman 18. This is a so this kind of confirms that we're on a different Earth 3 for me. So I remember I brought up the Earth 3 last week. This is another tie-in for Absolute Power. Superman and Zatanna traveling through the dark roads. They're like, well, maybe we can use the dark path of the multiverse to get some help. But then there's a Batman Superman fusion together that they call Confusion. So, which is pretty funny. And they say it's a Batman Superman mix from Earth 3, and they mentioned like Ultraman. They're like, oh, but that's not a. He says there's some reference like Earth 3 where they're like, no, that's not this Earth 3. So I think something's going on with Earth 3, like, it's a different Earth 3. Because I had talked about like the Donna Troy Earth 3. So yeah,
they gotta explain what's going on with Earth 3 because I'm super confused at this point about it.
Yeah, right.
Because I thought after last week when we talked about Earth 3 stuff, I was like, okay, I understand where it was coming from, what you were talking about. But now it's like...
Yeah, they specifically mentioned it, so hopefully they're going to explain it. But yeah, so they all... And it pretty much like pushes them forward to all meet up before they get into the next issue of Absolute Power. But they kind of like hinted that like that's where Waller has already tapped into the dark multiverse to get help from how she's getting help from the multiverse is she's gone into the dark version of it. So there you go.
That means the Batman Who Laughs is going to be in the finale of Absolute Power, Mike.
Oh boy, here we go.
There's also like a 1-page thing at the end. I don't know if it's in the digital version, but it was basically saying next issue is going to start the Doomsday Saga.
Oh yes, where he's punching through the wall. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting out of the Absolute Power in my Superman book.
I thought it was a fun like couple issue thing. But yeah, I'm ready to go back to what Superman was.
Superman. Yeah. Batman: The Long Halloween, Last Halloween. This is the 0 issue. Because this is going to be the 10 issues. Long Halloween, Last Halloween. Sorry, everybody. To me, they should just call it Last Halloween, but it just catches you up.
Mike.
Yeah, I know. It catches you up in the Long Halloween. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale had a new story to tell. There's an interview with Jeff Loeb at the end of it. So we'll see how the next 10 issues go. This just really just goes through the Long Halloween and like tells you where the characters are. So the next issue comes out next week, the first one. So and then I had Dark Knights of Steel All Winter number 3. I thought this was a great issue. Did you read this one?
I didn't get to it, no.
Okay. So the Deathstroke agrees to like take the kid not Alan Scott, Swamp Thing, Alec Holland. He agrees to like take him with him, and they run into Batman, and he joins their crew after like Deathstroke and him fight. So Batman ends up in their realm. So it is the same time period as what happens with the other Dark Knights of Steel. So they like meet up with each other, and like there's a lot of showing off of Alec's powers and stuff with the green. So, and how he's like tapped into everything, and even Batman comments like, "Oh, your land has been affected by something." So it's really good now that we know where we are in the timeline, because I thought this was all taking place like way before the Dark Knights of Steel book. So.
So it is taking place after.
Yeah.
That was my thoughts on it. So,
but yeah, that's all I got to this week.
Okay. Sorry, I was looking something up to make sure I wasn't breaking embargo. So some of the stuff I caught up on a lot of stuff this week, so I won't get into everything I read, but I'll get to the stuff I read that's new this week, and then some stuff that are just wanted to talk about. One of the older things was TMNT Nightwatcher number 1, which came out a few weeks back.
Okay.
So basically, this is So I got the lowdown on Nightwatcher. Nightwatcher was like a superhero alter ego that I believe Mikey used
Okay.
to like go on the streets and be a superhero. But they're using it in this one as Jenica, who was the female turtle they created in the last run.
Okay.
And she is now Nightwatcher on the streets. And she's basically the superhero protector, think Batman, of the mutant like ghetto, basically.
Okay.
So it was really just introducing her and introducing how people feel about her, from mutants to people to so on and so forth. Interesting first issue. Wasn't the best though.
Okay.
I'll say these side TMNT books do not reach the heights that I think Jason Aaron's getting to with the main book. And I say that because the next book I have is TMNT Mutant Nation #1.
Nice.
This is, if you were reading and mind you, I'm kind of guessing here, but there's hints throughout it that tell me this is true. It seems to me like this is, if you were reading the previous run, this is the sequel. Because it literally is like, it's written by the guy who wrote that run, and they refer back to like things I know were happening, like the Armageddon game, which was the big like event near the end, and a few other things. But it's Raph like going across country, and he runs into a giant robot who he has to help out.
Nice.
It was okay, but I was lost as a new reader, so that was one thing. And then the other thing was like the backup story was oh my god, I'm zoning on his name right now. But it was about the Foot Clan, and it just wasn't interesting. Yeah. Obviously, I can't remember Casey Jones. It's Casey Jones as a member of the Foot Clan.
Okay.
And apparently that happened in a previous run as well, because they reference back to it. And I was just really confused because it was like this new person in charge of the Foot Clan, and she thinks that Casey Jones isn't really like loyal to her. I didn't read that previous run, so I don't know what's going on. This book in particular, I thought had a chance to be like, tell cool stories and introduce us to like characters. And it seems more like it's just continuing things that happened in like a 150 issue run plus events and all this other shit. And it's not as new reader friendly as like Jason Aaron's book is.
Right.
I read a book that comes out October. I was just looking up while you're talking. October 9th.
Okay.
Which is Murder Kingdom from Mad Cave. And this is the book where it's like, it takes place in a not Disneyland. And like somebody gets killed. And essentially that's the first issue, is you're introduced to this not Disneyland. They even joke around that like everything here is public domain characters. We're not that place. We're, this fantasy place.
Okay.
And so there's some cool jokes throughout it, but it's really just a book of an issue that sets up like, this is the world, and then this thing happens, and it's a murder. Who done it? It wasn't a great first issue. I'll just say that. Like they didn't do enough to like really suck you in. They got way too involved in like basically office politics and like people hating their jobs and stuff like that. It's like, I can go to my real job for that.
Yeah, right. I don't need to read stuff about it. Yeah.
I will probably still check out issue 2 just because like the end of it was like this murder mystery, and I want to see how that all comes together. You talked about those. And then, so another older one was Jonny Quest #2. And I just want to say, like, I'm really liking this book. And even though it's like Jonny Quest come to today, the 2024, and it's that old trope of like, here's what the character is now as an adult. So it's like Haji as an adult in India. Like,
that's cool.
But it's fun if you like those characters. So I just recommend it. I think it's really well done.
Cool.
All right, this week's books. Darth Vader #50, the grand finale.
Oh shit, it's all over.
Darth Vader's done. Just wanted to bring it up because, like I did with Star Wars #50, this Darth Vader run's been really great, and I really just recommend it to people if you like Star Wars. And Greg Pak did a real good job of like keeping it simple with Vader. Like, he's telling cool stories, but they're not like these huge overarching big things. They're just, what did Vader do between these two movies? And it's just him like trying to collect power and thinking about overthrowing the Empire and all, or the Emperor and all this stuff. And then this issue in particular, when you get to it, it just wraps up everybody's story, sets them up for Return of the Jedi. So it was cool, but I'm really excited for, I think next might be 2 weeks from now, but the new Star Wars stuff coming out.
Cool.
Paranoid Gardens #3. It seems like the gardens that they're living on are somehow in another dimension.
Okay.
Like there's this weird thing where they can go into and find people and bring them, but whenever they do, they're like forced out. So I think it's some sort of like living in limbo thing going on here. Or maybe people die and then go to the Paranoid Gardens as like a punishment for something they did. But I don't know. That's just my guess. But basically, in this issue, the gardens are somehow hurt and they have to help it. And one of the people working there finds a way to heal the gardens. And it brings great interest to the staff because they didn't know that she could do this. And now it's created this whole other mystery surrounding who she is and who she was before she came to the gardens. Overall, this book is very confusing. Everybody, like, Gerard Way wrote it in a way that is meant to make you feel like you don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But I just have faith in Gerard to bring it all together, that I'll at least let him finish this book before I make a decision on it, which very few writers.
I thought the cover for this issue was cool, but yeah, I can't read stuff like that.
It is cool. Like these beekeeper things, they're what keep people out of the gardens.
Yeah.
So you see them a few times, like they come down out of nowhere and they try to force people that don't belong.
Yep.
And in this issue, you see like somebody from a delivery, I think FedEx, UPS, tries to deliver something to the gardens, and everybody's like, "How are you here? What are you doing here?" So yeah, fun book, but yeah, confusing as hell. Avengers #18. This was a fixed continuity issue. We get Hyperion and like basically dealing with the fact that what happened to him during Heroes Reborn and how he feels about it, and basically putting him in a position where he's like, that plot hole's done. And then it sets up Storm to really join the team officially. And we also get that because of what's happening in Thor's solo book, apparently, that I'm not reading, Thor is leaving the team as well. So, good issue if you're reading Avengers, but not a good jump on issue because it is like a continuity issue.
Yeah, you got to know what's going on.
Yeah. I want to leave this for last. A Kickstarter book from our friend Pat Shand.
Nice. About sex?
No, actually. Well, kind of. I summoned Cthulhu to fund my Kickstarter.
Nice.
Issue 3. This is the final issue. And I think it's a fun book, but it is very, very, like, you have to know the people involved kind of book. Like, I wouldn't give this to anybody, but the people in our circle that know, like, the Kickstarter space, because, dude, like, Charlie Stickney's a character in the book.
Oh, that's funny.
Travis Gibbs a character in the book. Like, people we know. So I think that's part of the reason I enjoy it so much. But yeah, so Pat Shand, in order to have his career, has to pledge to the waifu goddess. So that's why he makes like sexy books.
That's amazing.
And then we find out that there's a whole backstory. She's somehow connected to Cthulhu. He accidentally summons Cthulhu through her, and then like him and Charlie Stickney have to find a way to like save the world. It's a fun book, but yeah, it is kind of in the weeds in a lot of things. And then the last thing I took a shot on this week, because I didn't have that many books, is a Keen Spot book. Mark Spears' Monsters #1.
Okay.
Apparently this is based on like old trading cards.
Really?
But it's really like, it's the Universal Monsters.
Okay.
Like it's Frankenstein's Dracula and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And first of all, when I'm reading this book, I'm looking at the art, and Mark Spears is both the artist and writer of this. And I gotta say, like, I think of that meme of Shaq, like, I wasn't familiar with your game. And Mark Spears, I was not familiar with your game, because goddamn is the art beautiful in this book.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, it is like building this world set in the 1980s, and like all these monsters are involved. So if you like those like old Universal monsters, I think it's a fun book. Van Helsing shows up in it. They do a flashback to old Transylvania with Dracula at one point and how he's connected to the quote unquote present.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really fun book. I'm gonna continue reading it. So, Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter X. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter and at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. Also, you can find the show at fortresscomics_ on Twitter or at fortressofcomicnews.com. And if you want to support the show, best ways to do it are 5-star reviews on podcatchers, specifically Spotify and or Apple Podcasts. And also like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube version of the show. And then there's patreon.com/fortresscomics. So thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see you all here next week.